This is Truth Angel, and this is my segment 4, A New World Order. I've learned a lot of things. This is probably going to be pretty long. I recorded this last night. I had about an hour and a half's worth, and unfortunately, due to my junky program, it crashed and I could not get it back. So I'm going to try it again. Hopefully I won't miss out too many things. I want to let you know everything that I've learned so that you don't have to go looking up conspiracy theories. Time is running out and the surveillance is really heavy right now. I've had a lot of problems with the online surveillance and trying to post my videos and trying to share this, and so it kind of stopped me, and I had to sit and think. My problem was, what do I do with this knowledge I know? Do I just get ready and I get ready to hide and just don't tell anybody? Because people are almost impossible to wake up to this, and they don't believe you. They don't want to hear it. So it's hard. It's like, but then again, God is like, you need to send your transmission, send your transmission like in Cloud Atlas, like Bill Cooper did. Bill Cooper was an informant, and they came to his porch and shot him. And recently, right now in the news, there was a guy who did like a WikiLeaks about how they're spying on us, and he's on the run and got locked in an airport, and they want to kill him, man. So it's like, man, what do I do? Save my life and just, get my stuff ready. And it's too hard to wake people up. Or do I do what God wants? Like Bill Cooper's like, I'm on a mission and I have to do this. Even if it risks my life, I have to tell people about what I know. So I'm done with the YouTube. I'm not posting things on YouTube. I'm done with looking up conspiracy theories on YouTube. I know a lot. So I'm going to try to spare you from red flagging yourself, because every time that you look up that stuff, red flag, and it's getting really heavy to where I don't even look it up, let alone post videos about it. I want to kind of tell people this through SoundCloud and try to find a way to hide it through SoundCloud, but I can also just burn CDs that I make myself without them even knowing, because I'm not online. They can't hear what I'm doing, and then just pass out these CDs. Whether people think I'm freaking crazy or not, at least I feel like I'd be doing my part, but still keeping myself alive and unred flagged. So if you do look up conspiracy theories, I would actually recommend you knock it off and just don't. Just listen to what I have to say, because I've looked up a lot of stuff for you, but the surveillance is too tight. If you are going to look up conspiracy theories, skip all of it and go look at, her name is Rev Michelle Hopkins on YouTube. At the end of my research, which it's never really done, but I finally was like, I can't keep looking this up. I'm red flagged as it is. So Rev Michelle Hopkins is amazing, and she validated a lot of things that I've been. It's like I look at all this stuff. Everything's just a piece of a puzzle, and I started digging and digging and digging and digging and digging. Now they're looking at us so hard and red flagging us that I'm done. I'm done. So if you're going to look up anything, look up Rev Michelle Hopkins, and everything she says is true. She knows 10 million times more about the technology than I know in the weather control. But it's also spiritual. People just don't believe in God. They don't believe in angels. They don't believe in demons. But how come demons and Satan are all over the TV and stuff? So anyway, Rev Michelle Hopkins knows so much more than I knew, and it's neat because it's kind of cool to see. It's like here I am looking at all this stuff, and I'm trying to put the pieces together, and they're starting to come together, and I got hunches about this, and this is making sense, and the arrows are pointing at this, like the picture's coming together, and I see Rev Michelle Hopkins, and she's like, I got the whole damn puzzle done, and I was like, whoa, neat, I've been working on that. So she's the number one that I would recommend you look at her stuff, because she knows a lot, and she's got the puzzle finished, and that's probably because she is a worker of God. But what she's doing is also very dangerous to her life and her family. So I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to go back and kind of talk about things from my first segment that was the hour-long one, and then I did 2 really, really short ones. And before I move on to the next subject of things I want to tell you, I want to go back and talk about the TV and the TV programmings. There's a reason why it's called a program, because it subliminally programs your mind. And you could watch a whole show in a half-an-hour show, whatever it may be, and then watch all these commercials they put in between, and then 5 hours later down the road, you don't really remember that show or all the words that were said in that show, but your brain does. I feel like I gave the guy a really bad rap. Girls are a little bit more nuttier than guys, so both men and women are responsible for. The thing is, we need to come back together as families, like family units, like from the 1950s. The bad guys hate family units that are strong, that believe in God, that are moral, teach them moral things. So they're always trying to break up the man and the woman, like I told you about 2.5 Men. That women are just flesh. And so, but I feel like I kind of give the bad guys a rap. It's not just bad guys, it's women, and women are a lot more emotional than men, and a lot more unpredictable than men. So it's both of us, but you have to realize the part that the TV plays in messing with your minds. So I was talking about 2.5 Men and how it's turning our men against women, and women, you know. But I need to bring up the fact that daytime television is like the worst television in the world. It's so horrible. Like, I won't even bother turning it on, okay? Really, the daytime TV is horribly stupid. The daytime TV is set up for the stay-at-home mom. I wish, like, you could not believe that I could be a stay-at-home mom. And there's a lot of stay-at-home moms that just take it for granted. And I'm never going to get to be a stay-at-home mom. I'm always going to have to work like a man. That's just the way it is and the way it's going to be. The daytime television is set up for the stay-at-home mom. They got court shows where people are screaming and yelling and throwing a fit and dragging someone to court over $1,200 when really they could just go, you know, I got screwed, and just let it go. And it's teaching you to, like, not just let it go. Let karma take care of it. Let God take care of it. It's not worth the dragging to the court show and the screaming and the yelling, and then the judges screaming and yelling. And I remember, you know, I can't stand it. I can't stand the sound of people fighting and yelling. I seek solace. But we got the court shows. We got, you know, Jerry Springer, which is the worst. Let's be violent over some piece of crap guy that's, so you're going to kick that lady's butt, and the guy's never going to be a jerk. The guy was a jerk, you know, before he wanted. And then they got soap operas, and soap operas are these long, drawn out, everything is a huge catastrophe. And the reason why they do this is to damage the stay-at-home mom's brain and emotions. It's called, I call it emotional unrest. All those shows are for the stay-at-home mom to cause her complete emotional unrest, that nothing's good enough, and, you know, don't drop the grudge, and let's fight for no reason, and I want to kick your butt. And the soap operas, oh gosh, especially if they're watching like 3 soap operas in a row, the soap operas are just so big deal out of nothing. It's programming them to have emotional unrest, and it builds up, and it escalates. The more of that junk, if you watch a court show, Jerry Springer, then you watch the soap opera, it's like this huge build-up, this big build-up of emotional unrest. And then the guy comes home, which, hey man, I'm sorry, but if I got to stay at home with my kid, we wouldn't be watching TV. We'd be drawing, and I'd be like, you are my hero, and, you know, thank you for letting me raise my child, and you work so hard, and here's your dinner. It'd be like completely different, okay? So the TV causes emotional unrest in the stay-at-home mom, who's completely the luckiest person in the world, man. I mean, they're just lucky. But if you watch a bunch of that junk, when the guy gets home, you're all upset for no reason. You don't even know why. And then the woman bitches out the man, just reams him out, and everything's dramatic, and I'm mad at you for this, and I'm mad at you for that, and I'm not going to let it go because the court show just made me, you don't let it go. And it causes fights and separation, and that's exactly what they want, is to separate the family. They want the mom away from the dad. They want the mom using the government, and they don't want the family together, because families and love, especially ones that are strong, are like, bam, that's what God wants, and they don't want that. So they want to separate us to keep us weak. But I'm saying the TV does the same darn things to the girls, even worse than it does to the guys. And it's to make us leave each other, to break up, to fight, to be unhappy. The girl's unhappy with the man, and he's like, what I do? Comes home, and he's not getting praised. He's not getting thanked. He's getting screamed at because of all this emotional unrest that was caused by the TV. And then he goes and watches his 2.5 Men, when women are just pieces of junk anyway. And it's to separate us, okay? Next, I'm going to talk about the Star of David. The Star of David, I found out, is called a Merkaba. one triangle represents the spirit world and one represents the physical world. There's some theories that a Merkaba is actually a UFO, whether it be it's a spiritual UFO, like, people that can meditate and transcend, or a physical, or both. Not sure that it's actually a UFO. There's a theory that there's a pyramid underneath the ocean in the Bermuda Triangle. I heard about that about 3 times, and that it's a Merkaba. It's a gate, a stargate thing that helps you transcend in a spiritual realm or something. I'm getting really close to that, figuring that out. But I found an interesting theory that I know, I'm like, what's Lucifer's connection with the pyramid, and what's up with this capstone? The capstone, I think, is the UFO, whether it's physical, spiritual, or both. But I heard this really neat theory that that God gives somebody the will, and only the purest person can go down underneath the pyramid where the top of it is buried. It has the keys and stuff in the will to be able to unlock it, and that guy is actually a good guy. That when they cap it, whoever opens it and gets that capstone that's buried way underneath the pyramid up there, it turns into a UFO, a Merkaba, that can fight the demons. And I was like, no way, you mean a good guy's gonna get that and get rid of these guys? I mean, that sounds stupid, but I've looked at so many things that keep pointing out that capstone. Mostly it's the demonics that keep pointing that out. So I thought, whatever it is with that capstone is bad news, whether it's UFO or not. But hearing that one there, it's like, no, the good guy. It was interesting whether it's true or not, or bullshit or not. I just kind of absorbed this and moved the pieces around and go, well, I've heard that a lot, and I've heard this a lot, and but I heard that a good guy's supposed to cap that with the capstone that's buried underneath the pyramid, and that's going to turn into a UFO, a Merkaba that's going to fight the rift that we have in our dimensions. It's going to fight the demons out of the earth. So I just thought that was interesting.